What's happening, guys? I hope you're all doing good. So today, oh my god, I've been so excited to film today's video. It's been a little bit intimidating, I'm not gonna lie, but I just really want to delve into this lore. So today, in Georgie Reacts to League of Legends Champions and stuff, it's a working title, I'm going to be reacting to the lore of Kayle and Morgana because they're twins. So I don't know a great deal of the lore for these characters already. I know a couple of little bits that I've been told, and I am like a Kayle main. Like, she's the character that I love to play the most because, oh my god, just the angel wings and the double swords. It's just everything. It's so cool. It's just so cool. So I already love Kayle. I know that she's not potentially the goodest character, but love me a complex villain. But then also there's Morgana, who also is quite a complex character in herself, so it's going to be very interesting to actually learn the lore behind these characters, learn, you know, these are sisters, like, you know, I've got siblings, like, it's going to be very interesting to see how these characters feel about each other, how they react about each other, how they like fell out, essentially, because obviously some of the most famous piece of art is them like essentially fighting. Like, it's going to be so cool to see how these characters got to the point that they are at now. So we're going to delve straight into this lore. If you sat down, I hope you're relaxed. I hope you have a drink and some snacks. Let's go. I'm going to be the Gandalf guiding you as mini Frodos on this journey. Although, to be fair, it's probably the other way around. So you guys are my Gandalf and I'm the Frodo. Who's Sam? Who knows? Regardless, let's just get started. These analogies, I need to stop. Okay, so we're going to start off with Kayle's story. I kind of figured this would probably be the best way to start because we usually start off with the stories, so I kind of figured, you know, there's a nice tale here. This artwork, by the way, it's just so good. I love this artwork so much. Just the symbology in this is stunning in itself. Oh, just love it. Like, essentially today what I'm expecting is angel and demon lore. That is what I'm expecting. Like, I'm presuming like angel or like fallen angel lore, which I guess is kind of demonic lore. So this is what I'm expecting today. Some of my favorite lore that we have had from League of Legends has been the demon lore. So I'm really excited to actually get into the angelic lore because I don't know a great deal of that lore. So I am so hyped that Kayle exists as a character because, oh my god, she's just so fucking cool. Like, oh, it's just awesome. Okay, let us read the story. So, as the Rune Wars raged, Mount Targon stood as a beacon against the oncoming darkness. Kayle and her twin sister Morgana were born beneath that light. Their parents, Mihira and Killam, began the perilous climb in search of the power to save their tribe from destruction. Even when Mihira learned she was with child, she pushed onwards. At the mountain summit, she was chosen as a divine vessel for the aspect of justice, wielding a sword that blazed with a fire brighter than the sun. Oh, so she was like pregnant when she got chosen as that vessel. Oh, wow. So not long after the twins were born, Kayle, an elder by a breath, was as bright as Morgana was dark. But Mihira had become a fearsome warrior, far greater than any mortal. Killam began to fear her new divinity, and sorcerous enemies were drawn to her light. He resolved to take the girls out of harm's way, journey across the Conqueror's Sea to a settlement where the land itself was said to offer protection against magic. Oh, so Demacia, right? In their new homeland, Killam raised the twins, their temperaments growing more different with each passing day. Kayle was precocious, often arguing with the settlement's leaders about their rules. She had no real memory of her mother's powers, but she knew the laws were meant to keep them all safe. Her father rarely spoke of such things, but Kayle was certain Mihira had saved them by ending the Rune Wars on some distant battlefield. When the twins were teenagers, a streak of flames split the sky. A sword smouldering with a celestial fire struck the ground between Kayle and her sister, breaking in two. Killam was distraught as he recognised the blade as Mihira's. Kayle eagerly snatched up one half of the weapon, feathered wings springing forth from her shoulders, and Morgana cautiously followed her example. In that moment, Kayle felt more connected to her mother than ever, certain that this was a sign she was alive and wanted her daughters to follow the same path as her. The people of the settlement believed the girls had been blessed by the stars, destined to protect the fledgling nation of Demacia from outsiders. These winged protectors became symbols of light and truth and were revered by all. Kayle fought in many battles, flying at the head of the growing militia and imbuing the weapons of the worthy with her own sanctified fire. But in time, her pursuit of justice began to consume her. Seeing threats within and without, she founded a Judicator order to enforce the law and hunted down rebels and reavers with equal fervour. But there was one person she softened judgment towards. To the dismay of her followers, Kayle allowed Morgana to rehabilitate wrongdoers who appeared humble enough to admit their guilt. Kayle's protege Ronas was the most disproving of all. He swore to do what Kayle would not and attempted to imprison Morgana. Kayle returned to find the people rioting and Ronas dead. Consumed by rage, she looked down upon the city and summoned her divine fire to cleanse the city of its sins. Holy shit. Morgana flew up to meet her, raising her blade. To purge the darkness she saw in mortal heart, she would have to start with her own sister. The two battled across the heavens, each matching the other's terrible blows and striking buildings beneath to rubble. Abruptly, the fight was halted by their father's anguished cry. Watch Kill him die in her sister's arms, a senseless victim to the violence that had overtaken the city that day. Then she held two halves of their mother's sword in her hands, and she vowed to never let the mortal emotions rule her. As she leapt back into the sky, soaring high towards the clouds, she felt that she could see Mount Targan beyond the horizon, its formidable peak bathed red in the setting sun. There she would seek the perfect celestial clarity. There she would stand at her mother's side and fulfill her legacy to the aspect of justice. Though she had been absent from Demacia for many centuries, Kayle's legend has inspired much of the kingdom's culture and lore. Grand statues and icons of the Wing Protector give strength to the heart of every warrior who matches to illuminate the night and banish all shadows from their land. In times of strife and chaos, there are those who cling to the hope that Kayle might eventually return, and those who pray that the day will never come. Wow, that's actually fascinating, because so basically Kayle always felt that really strong connection to her mother, whereas it seems like Morgana maybe didn't feel as much of a connection, and Kayle always basically knew that she was destined for something greater than what she had, and she always knew that she was the one that needed to step up and protect the people, and then be the leader, because she was the oldest, so it was kind of expected of her to be the leader, but also that she was essentially the law. She was justice. That's what she was there for. And considering that her mother was also the aspect of justice, it's interesting that she obviously was imbued with some of that when her mother became the aspect, the host of the aspect of justice herself. But that's interesting that being pregnant affected the babies to that extent, but also affected them in two very different ways, which is very fascinating. I'm wondering how that works. It also makes me wonder then, because it doesn't sound because I presumed that Kayle would be the aspect of justice, but actually it sounds like her mother's still alive. So far, we'll see what the other stories say, but if her mother's still alive, that means Kayle isn't the aspect of justice. Maybe she's got fragments of power from the aspect of justice, but she's not actually the aspect, or the host of the aspect, which is not what I expected, but that's really cool actually. Okay, let's check out Kayle's other story, The Fires of Justice. So, Abris's stomach tightened into knots as he waited on the steps of a shining temple. Standing watch before the temple doors was a statue of the Protector. The setting sun and silhouetted its face, casting a radiant aura around its bowed head. It was carved in white stone that sparkled with flecks of gold. Great wings framed its shoulders as it held two swords against its chest. The statue helmeted expression was blank, austere and more perfect than any human. Hundreds of candles covered the plinth at its feet. Abris leaned his sword and shield against the base of the sculpture. They were as pristine and unmarred as stone stores above him. He was told that the Protector blessed virtuous soldiers in Demacia and felt a strange comfort at his presence. The fact that they still worship Kayle after she essentially tried to cleanse the city and Morgana was actually the Protector, it's really strange to me, because I obviously they value what Demacia wants is they obviously are trying to protect them from magic. They're trying to use human means to defend the city and stuff, and they've obviously banned all magic, but they then still had the belief that Kayle and Morgana were blessed by the gods, and they still had that worship of them, and surely there was some form of magic in that, and it's quite strange that they worship someone that actively tried to not destroy the city, but purge it of its sins, essentially, which is just, yeah. An elderly woman cloaked in white exited the door of the temple. "Please, do you have a moment?" Abris called out to her. She made her way slowly over to him. "The illuminators always stop for those in need. Tell me, what do you seek here?" Her face crinkled as she spoke, but her eyes were kind. I leave for battle tomorrow," said Abris. He opened and closed his fist, nervous. "Sword arm is strong, and I am proud to defend Demacia's honour, but I wonder, how can I claim to be any better than the barbarians invading our lands if I slaughter them just the same? What good are white walls and resplendent banners if below them we spill their blood as they would ours?" Ah, the Illuminator said, yes. Killing is not to be taken lightly, even as a soldier. Let me tell you a story. She gazed up at the statue. Will you light a candle for her as I speak? Abris knelt and took the flame of one of the other votive candles at the statue's feet, using it to light another. The Illuminator's voice cracked with age as she began to tell the story, and Abris was reminded of his late grandmother, who had often told him myths and histories of their people. He never knew which stories were true and which she had conjured from her fanciful mind. Long ago, in a land now lost to time and crumbling decay, a cruel king led his people into poverty. During a time of great famine, the king gathered everyone from across the realm into his castle courtyard. There, he declared he would cast aside the old laws in order to end their time of scarcity, as was his right. He took their gilded law book and cast it to the floor, naming himself the Law. Whatever rules and decrees he spoke would become law, no matter what. Under guise of protecting the people, he announced his first decree. Since there were too many mouths to feed, the king said the elderly had no right to food, and they were to be killed, and there was no other way. Oh my god, that's a bit flipping extreme, isn't it? The starving citizens had no strength left to fight this injustice, and the king's guard forced the elderly folk to line up for slaughter. The first in line was a man with silver hair who stumbled as he stepped forward. He pleaded with the king. I am a baker. Let me bake bread for you and the people, he cried. Spare my life. But the king responded. Can you be young again? Can you knead muscle back into your broken and sorry limbs? No? Well, there is no redemption for you. And he motioned to the executioner, who raised his blade, and the baker's head rolled to the floor. How deplorable, said Abris, interrupting the Illuminator. Did no one resist the king's new laws? The Illuminator smiled. Thankfully, there was one who stood against this grave injustice. Our immortal protector had not seen this land for centuries, but perhaps dreamic justice sends ripples that echoes far beyond the realms unknown. In any case, at this moment she appeared. The heavens opened with blinding light as if the stars themselves had focused all their beams in one place. The protector emerged, wondrous and terrifying in her majesty. She confronted the cool king, who stood still at stone at her sight. No king stands above the statutes of the law, she declared. Speak thy name and prepare for judgment. I am not merely above the law, winged beast, I am the law. And with a nod, he motioned for his guards to advance. They did so in unison, raising their spears to the sky as one. Because of me, my people have purpose. My people know their place, and my people thank me for it. The law is justice given form. It is true and fair justice written in ink. It cannot be undone, said the protector. So I'm presuming the protector is Kayle, by the way. She drew her swords, which blazed with holy fire, filling the air with the scent of truth and punishment. Her wings unfolded, which fanned the flames with great strokes, and soon they were two aflame. It was a fearsome sight to see. You say you'll lead your people. Be now the first to be judged by my blades, the protector said. The cruel king looked upon the protector's blazing swords and her wings of fire, but the most fearful of all was the burning in her eyes, gleaming and grave with uncompromising wrath. He felt as if he was staring at the sun, beautiful and terrible in her glory, and the king wept in fear. He appealed to the protector's mercy and fell to his knees, pleading at her feet. I can change, the king begged. I see now the error of my ways. I was selfish and corrupt, and I did not deserve my crown. Let me live, and I shall follow the rule of law. The protector watched him with a steely gaze. When he had finished speaking, she drew breath. It is said that her voice in this moment echoed as if the very gods were speaking through her. Can you undo your deeds of injustice, king? Asked the protector. Can you unspeak your lies and make your false laws against fair and righteous judgment? No? Then there will be no redemption for you. In a quick motion, the protector thrust her burning blade through the king's heart, and he cried out as she impaled him on the gilded law book she cast to the floor. The law book burst into flame, which burned with the terrible heat of the heavens. This was holy fire, one that would scorch the evil sinners from the land and cleanse the just, leaving them unscathed. The cruel king screamed as the protector's fire burnt his guards and councilmen, his executioner and his servants. The fire did not stop its spread throughout the land, fueled by the lies of the false king and his wicked followers. The survivors forever remember this day of glory. For the ashes of their society, they were given a chance to rebuild in justice and honour. And if the land ever returned to unlawful chaos, they were certain the protector would descend from the heavens once more. The Illuminator smiled down at Ibris. We must all act with virtue and honour, she said, from kings to bakers, servants to soldiers, for no one is above the law and no one is above justice. The raiders who attack and invade our southern borders were lawless and malevolent. With every breath as they march forward, they threaten the safety of our lands. Your role as a shield for Demacia is a great honour and just endeavour, and the Protector looks kindly upon those with justice in their hearts. Aye, said Abris. He looked to his sword, unblemished by acts of war. He vowed that from his first strike to his last, each would be in the name of justice. If you ever feel uncertain, soldier, think on how the Protector would act. If you act with integrity and truth as a Protector would, she will surely guide your blade, even if you must wet it with blood. The Illuminator bowed and returned to her temple. Abris watched as the candle he lit flickered in the dark. He stood up to walk back to his camp for the night, and as he turned to look towards the statue one time, he thought he saw the shine of another flame deep within the stone helmet of the Protector. Wow, that was a really good story. I like the way that they did that, where like we didn't actually really get to see much of Kayle apart from like in the tale that was being told, but like it was such an interesting tale. And this is the kind of argument about justice, isn't it? Is that like it trying to determine what appropriate justice is always very interesting, and it becomes dangerous when someone believes that they are justice. Like, for example, like look at any like superhero, for example, right? That like a lot of superheroes, you know, a lot of them work for like organizations, or they form like big teams, and they all have like very similar ways of dealing with the villains, and it's, you know, for example, a lot of them is just like putting them in prison and things like that. But then when you have someone that is like working like by themselves, or, you know, is like essentially like gone a bit rogue, you know, their form of justice can be very different. A lot of those kind of superheroes tend to be a lot more violent. They tend to be a lot more like, you know, like the only justice is death. Like it tends to be a lot more that way, and they definitely are more anti-heroes. And it's weird because I can kind of see Kayle being a bit of both. Like she is doing it for the good of people, but at the same time, her methods, and also the fact that like she is the one determining what justice is, can also be very twisted, because it's not necessarily what the same justice. I mean, don't get me wrong, that king was definitely in the wrong. He definitely, well, you know, had like thrown away the laws that had been in the land for a long time, and he definitely was wrong in like starving his people and killing off the elderly. That's just ridiculous. But like also the like godly intervention of like killing him and like putting this fire through the land and like burning all these people and killing them all as well. Same again, is that the right decision? You know, for example, like a servant, you know, people have to work, people have to eat, people have to do certain things, and they don't necessarily have a choice, especially if it's because they're working for a king. Like it can make it very difficult, because sometimes like you do stuff because, not because you want to, but because you have to. I feel like so far with the two stories that we've had, I feel like I've not gotten much of an image of Kayle. And it's really weird because I feel like she's almost this like omnipotent character that it's really hard to pinpoint how to feel about her so far, which is like interesting because like that is who she is. So it's like, it makes sense that like I wouldn't be able to really get much of a feel for her. I think the only thing that we've seen is that like, you know, she basically, you know, has her own image of justice. Like, she has a bit of a soft spot for her sister, but even then they did end up fighting. She has no emotion. Like, she has completely cut off all human emotion that she had, and she's basically embraced this other side of her. And it's going to be fascinating to see if Morgana, because I'm imagining Morgana is like the opposite in a way. Like, Morgana's kept more of her humanity and kind of like thrown away more of like this like aspect justice influence that is over her as well. So I figured what the best thing to do next would be to look at the wiki and do the Morgana side, just because then we can have an image of Kayle, we can have an image of Morgana, and then we can kind of go in with everything that's kind of to do with both of them. So I kind of figured that was probably the best way of doing it. So we're just gonna have a quick look through the wiki, see if there's anything else that we've kind of like missed, or anything that can kind of add to what we know so far, because like I said, I haven't got much of an image of Kayle, so I do like to try to like formulate how a character acts and how voice lines are going to work for a character. So yeah, born to the Targonian aspect of the height of the Rune Wars, so obviously we know that was the aspect of justice. Kayle honoured her mother's legacy by fighting for justice on the wings of divine flame. She and her twin sister Morgana were the protectors of Demacia for many years, until Kayle became disillusioned with the repeating failings of mortals and abandoned this realm altogether. Still, legends are told of her punishing the unjust with her fiery swords, in hope that she will one day will return. And it does also make me wonder where she's been, because we know she's probably been by like her mother's side, but like I just wonder what she's been doing, which is quite interesting. I just love the design for her though. Like, it's just so good. It's so good. Like, oh, like that, like these skins are gorgeous. And like the angel wings are very similar to what biblical angels look like. Like they have like definitely used the influence of those. So this, for example, is a pretty good example of like a biblically accurate angel. So as you can see, you've got like the creepy eyes, and then you've got like the different wings. So usually in like the actual historical depictions and descriptions of angels, the different wings signify the like different rankings of angels. So for example, Kayle has 6 wings, so she would typically be like a seraphim, right? And a seraphim, they have 6 wings because they use a pair for flying, they use a pair for covering the face, and they use a pair for covering like I think like their legs or something like that. And they are typically a rank of angels that sits very close to God. So theoretically, like lore-wise, in the League of Legends universe, this would actually kind of make sense with that, because obviously she's next to the aspect of justice. She is essentially an angel for justice. She's the angel for the aspect of justice. And having this kind of like angel lore in League is really interesting, and it makes me wonder if there are other representatives like this for the aspects, or potentially if there could be in the future. And also, like, does that mean that like potentially there could be like things like fallen angels? Is this where some of the demon lore could come from? Is this where some of the powers for the demons could come from? This is like where we get into very interesting theory territory, and this is like the kind of thing I love. I don't really know a great deal. All we know is that like their father Killen basically took them to Demacia to raise them separately from their mother, who had become the aspect of justice. So oh, I tell you what, let's have a look at the abilities actually, because I'm kind of interested to see what they actually managed to inherit. So coming in contact with heavenly magic while still in the womb, Kayle's very similar physiology to the host in appearance, like Morgana. Kayle accepted her new heavenly powers with open arms. So we all know that she has fire, like she is heavenly fire basically. So it's capable of purifying and burning any living being. She's capable of creating swords and knives from the powerful fire, capable of doing severe damage. Flight, she has free wings, allowing her to fly great distances. When she's in, her second form, her wings are flooded with heavenly fire and give her the ability to burn her enemies with them. She's immortality, so having celestial alteration, Kayle obtained eternal life, so she'll never die in any way. Only a sister or another celestial could kill her. Oh, that's quite fascinating, actually. And she master swordsman as well. So the twin siblings, but Kayle is the older of the two. Their relationship soured after the event that led to the death of their father, but the two know deep down they still love each other since they need each other as well. Silas knows certain truth about the sisters and calls out their power during the events of the look. Ooh, what? Interesting. What the fuck does Silas know? Ooh, I'm fascinated now. I'm going to have to read those Lux comics at some point. I think that when I do the Lux episode of this kind of series, I don't know if I'll read the comics on stream. I might like read through them and like have some interesting bits that we go through and like reference and talk about. But I'll probably just do like a summary for it, because I think they might be quite long. Ascended, but not technically hosts of the aspect of justice. They retain and share the power of the aspect due to their mother, who was the former ascended host of the aspect, being pregnant with them during her ascension, which makes them half mortal. So they currently have less celestial power than the other aspects due to being the children of aspect, but have free will and a more unified identity. And after ascension, Kayle fully established herself as the next aspect of justice. I mean, imagine how much more powerful Kayle will get when she ascends. Like, oh my god. So they became ascended where their wings materialized shortly after their mother's sword fell from the heavens. But I wonder why that sword fell. That's fascinating, because she wasn't dead. So I wonder why the sword fell. I wonder if the mother like did it like deliberately. View of justice based around law. She believes that every crime deserves punishment proportionate to its scale, and you were redeemed after you've been punished. So she believed Demacians to have a twisted lot of the original ideas that made them great and taken them to the extreme. She would also take issue with Demacians' recent lawlessness and chaos with Silas's escape. So she suppressed the feelings of her mistakes because she feared she was wrong and becoming a monster. Oh, wow, so she actually has, like, doubts then. So she clearly hasn't been successful in suppressing her emotions then. So her worst flaw is a self-righteousness and ability to blind herself to her own flaws and mistakes. Her best qualities are idealistic desire to do good in the world and protect innocence. Her favourite food is kale. No. I refuse. In modern times, her name is long forgotten and she's known the protector within Demacia's mythos. Oh, so they don't actually know she's called Kayle. Oh. So Kayle Morgana's current law represents the interaction between two approaches to justice, retributive and restorative respectively. Both systems are not viewed as mutual enemies who fight each other but are compromised by a yin and yang force that fights back evil. So they represent the struggle between Michael and Satan, which was kind of my thinking when I was like saying about like the demon and angel law, you know, because obviously like you had like all the angels, and obviously Satan was Lucifer, who then became a fallen angel when he basically started arguing with God and not agreeing with his ideals and the way he viewed humanity, and so he became a fallen angel, and that's where like demons came from basically, because he ended up in hell. So, and then you got Michael, who was like the archangel, like God's essentially like right hand man, and they were like supposed to be siblings. So it's just so good. But yeah, to me, like, Kayle doesn't necessarily seem evil. I think that the way that she's kind of talked about when people were like talking to me about Kayle and stuff was that like she was like quite evil, and I was like, I don't think she's evil. I just think she has a different way of approaching trying to bring justice and peace to like the whole of Runeterra, and I think that it's very different, but I think she also has a very taken out of the way viewpoint at this point, because I think she's just kind of like looking at like, yes, we just need to do justice, they just need a crime, like a punishment that fits the crime, and they will be resolved. Whereas Morgana, from the sound of it, sounds more that she's just like, well, like, okay, well, how can we stop this from happening again? How can we prevent these things? How can we help these people to like redeem them and help them like better function in society? Like, it seems like Morgana's thinking of this more as like a human, whereas Kayla's thinking of this more like a god. Next up, we have got the Morgana side of things. So it's going to be interesting because we're going to be getting, I think, the same story but told from Morgana's point of view. And I also like the fact that like Kayle is like the slightly older one. Like, you know, like you usually do find it with like older siblings and stuff, that like the older one tends to be the one that's like has a lot of expectation on them, has a lot of like responsibility, and always feels like they have to be like the best, and always feels like they have to like take care of the younger siblings and be the one like that kind of takes control of situations. And it definitely does feel like that, like Kayle felt that way, but it kind of feels like Morgana's tried to like come out of that shadow and like become her own person. And it's going to be, I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to turn out and where that's going to go with this story. So let's delve into Morgana the Fallen. So obviously that's meant to be a reference to fallen angels. You know, she obviously is the Lucifer Satan version in this. However, I wouldn't necessarily say with like the evil side, but we'll see. I don't know a lot about Morgana. Through destiny or circumstance, Morgana and her sister were born to a world in conflict. The cataclysmic rune wars had ripped through most of Valoran and Shurima and seemed poised to engulf even the peaks of Targon. Morgana's parents, Mihira and Killam, knew the legends of the great mountain granting divining power, and they saw no other choice than to attempt the long and perilous journey if their tribe was to be saved. Even when they learned Mihira was with child, they could not turn back. And finally, when Runeterra touched the stars, Killam watched in wonder and fear as Mihira was chosen to embody the aspect of justice. That must have been like so terrifying, and I wonder how Mihira felt in that moment when that happened. People returned not only with the salvation they sought, but twin daughters Morgana and Kayle. However, the celestial power that claimed Mihira began to overshadow her mortal personality and affections. She would often push the girls into their father's arms, abandoning them to answer battle's call. For many months, uncertainty gnawed at Killam. The war still raged on countless fronts, and his beloved wife was slipping away. Fearing for his daughter's safety, he waited for Mihira to leave once more, then fled for Targon with them both. I can see why he did it. I can see why he did that, because I think that he was like, obviously they had fought to try to like save their like tribe and people from war and to like protect their children from war, but like essentially his wife is now the aspect of justice who is like bringing it home, and like it's eventually going to get to the point where it starts affecting the children. And so I understand why he left and did that, because he's only human. Like this is something so beyond him that like, and he's got these two young kids that he wants to protect. Like, what else can he do, you know? And the fact that like she also like she wasn't his wife anymore, like she was becoming the aspect, she was losing herself to it. Yeah. Though their destination did not yet have a name, it would become known as a haven of magic and persecution, the Kingdom of Demacia. There, the twins grew different as day and night. While Kayle studied the settlement's growing set of laws, the dark-haired Morgana became troubled by their distrust of new arrivals. Knowing what was to be a refugee, she wandered the wilds, talking to wayward mages and others cast out for the dangers they might bring home. At home, she felt her father's heartbreak at leaving the hero behind and grew bitter at her mother for causing such pain. Oh, so while Kayle felt a connection to their mother and, like, yearned to, like, see her again, Morgana actually was closest to their father and sort of resented her mother for the choices that she kind of, like, forced her family to make. Morgana's fear that she and Kayle might carry some remnant of the aspect's power were eventually confirmed when a great blade, wreathed in shadow and starfire, fell from the heavens. As it pierced the ground, it split in two. Feathered wings burst from the girl's shoulders. Their father wept at the sight of each of them, taking up half the weapon, and turned away even as Morgana reached out to comfort him. While Kayle embraced their new calling, rallying an order of judicators to enforce the laws, Morgana resented her gifts, until the night their settlement was raided. Kayle found himself surrounded as the fight spread, and in that moment Morgana rushed to shield him, burning his attackers to ash. Together, the sisters saved countless lives and were hailed as the winged protectors of Demacia. Oh, also she had to save her dad. But Kayle grew more extreme in her ideologies, and Morgana increasingly found herself pleading to the case of those wanting to atone for their crimes. An accord was struck between the sisters and their mortal devotees, though it was uneasy and did not last. Kayle's most ardent disciple, Ronus, came to arrest Morgana herself. Attempting to protect her penitent followers, she shackled him with dark flame until he fell to the floor dead. Divine fire lit the city from above as Kayle swore to bring Ronus' killer to justice, and Morgana met her sister in the skies. They raised their blades, each matching each other with arcs of blinding light and burning darkness that lashed down at the buildings beneath them. It seemed certain that one of them would win, until Morgana faltered when she heard her father's anguished voice. Kayle lay in the rubble, mortally wounded. Howling with grief, Morgana hurled her half of the mother sword at Kayle and plunged into the surface like a meteorite. She cradled her father, cursing their inheritance for the destruction around them. Kayle landed dumbstruck, and Morgana demanded to know if the smiting of wicked mortals, including Kayle, whose crime was stealing them away from their mother. Kayle gave no answer, but soared into the heavens without looking back. Morgana's wings became an inescapable reminder of her pain. She tried to cut them off from her flesh, but could find no blade strong enough. Instead, she bound them with iron chains, resolving instead to walk the world of mortals. Over the centuries, her tale fell into myth. The name Morgana was all but forgotten, and to this day the people of Demacia venerate the winged protector, but recall only the glory and truth of one sister, while Morgana's dark outbursts and belief in personal redemption became the mysteries of the Veiled One. Wow, so Kayle's winged protector, and the Morgana's the Veiled One. Through all this, she still refuses to abandon those who would seek her aid. Bitter, betrayed, she bides her time in the Kingdom of Shadows, knowing that with certainty that Kayle's light will someday return to Runeterra, and all will face her judgment. As magic began to rise again, Morgana sees that dawn is nearly upon them. So the last time they saw each other was when their father died. So they haven't actually seen each other since. And Morgana she bound her wings. She basically chose to be mortal. But obviously she's still immortal, she still can't die, and she's like walked through the world of Runeterra waiting for Kayle to come back. Wow. Because I was gonna say, they can kill each other. Like, the only people that can kill them are them, and then another aspect. So the only people that can kill them are like either each other or an aspect. Like, no one else can kill them. So like, are they going to end up at the point where they end up with this, like, fight to the death? Like, is that what's going to happen? And also the fact that, like, out of, like, everyone, like, Kayle never actually took justice for Ronus' death, for the things that Morgana did, even though she didn't do anything wrong. Just in Kayle's eyes she did. You know, Ronus was the one that went after Morgana because Morgana believed in being sympathetic and wanting to help people and believed in redemption, and he decided to arrest her, and she protected herself and her followers. And, you know, I don't think she did wrong. Like, fair enough, yeah, she shouldn't have killed him, but it unfortunately got to that point, and then Kayle took it out on her followers in the city, and Morgana had to stop her. I feel so bad for Morgana. Like, I feel really sorry for her, and it's so sad because, like, obviously Kayle, who has that connection to her mother, is now by her side and essentially is her angel, whereas, like, Morgana, like, lost like the people, like she lost like her whole family, like she lost the people that she loves, especially her mortal father, and in such a painful way because her and Kayle fought, and it's just it's very sad. Next one is prayer to a crumbling shrine. So Rin stubbed his toe on a root and stumbled, catching himself before he lost his balance. A few paces in front of him, his great aunt looked back. Need my old bones to slow down for you, ho-ha. She chuckled. What a strange laugh. Ho-ha. That's a new one. I've never seen that before. No, he murmured to his shoes. His great aunt Peria was snow-haired and stooped with age, though she still was a few inches taller than Rin. He wished he could be as tall as his horrible brother. He would have towered above them both if he was there. Rin had never been to this part of the woods before. The pine trees grew closer together, so much that the light of the noonday sun had diminished to a glimmer among the shadows. Aunt Peria stopped ahead. At first he thought she stood in front of a mossy boulder, but as he caught up he saw the remains of a stone figure, eroded by time. Rin fiddled with the rocks in his pocket. Aha! Do you know who this is? Asked Aunt Peria. Some old noble from the city? Oh, no, Aunt Peria cheerfully. To many, she was no more than a shadow and a myth. The figure known as the Veiled One. Aunt Peria lifted a lantern towards the figure. The statue's left arm was missing from the shoulder, but her right palm was open, as if inviting them forward. Upon her head was what must have been a delicate stone shroud, now coated in vines. Feathered stubs rose from her shoulders, broken and weathered, and Rin could see the part of her face had crumbled garishly, and he shivered. The unbroken half of her face was not much better. Her remaining eye was marked with stains, and her expression was spiteful, as if she was about to spit out sour milk. Oh, I was gonna say that's sad that she's been like forgotten like that to time. Don't like her? Aunt Peria said, amused. You're not the only one. She's not the most beloved, but she knows all about revenge. Rin's eyes widened. He thought he'd been so careful. Yes, I heard the rocks clacking about your pocket. I know you're planning to get back at your brother. He didn't mean to hurt you, you know. He hit me in the eye with the blunt of his axe, Rin cried. What do you think he meant to do? Shouldn't he be the one who gets a lesson? He was showing you how to chop wood. You know, he would never hurt you on purpose. He deserves his own black eye. And if you gave him one, what lesson do you think he would learn from that? Rin did not think Aunt Peria would much like his response, so he stayed silent. No answer? A story then. Now listen. I'm not doing this in the voice. Rin sat himself down in the front of the statue, and with a sigh he leaned his head against his hand. Long ago, in the deepest, darkest woods, where the trees grew together so tightly no sign of sky or stars was visible, the Veiled One lived, far away from any settlement. Though few spoke with her, it was believed that she was older than dawn, sharper and wiser than any in the land. Those with disputes that could not solve themselves would come to her for final judgment, to seek wisdom, absolution, and occasionally punishment. They did so with caution, for it was also known that her lessons could be severe. One day, a cleric and his pupil entered the woods to find the Veiled One, for the pupil had erred. The pupil had acted in anger against his elder, striking him with the censer. Smouldering incense had scarred the cleric's face with a grotesque burn, and the pupil knew he had done wrong and wanted to repent. The two had journeyed a day and night before they found the Veiled One. They entered a cavern, illuminated by candles. Water dripped from the ceiling and strange potions lined the walls. It stank of grave soil and moss. Dozens of raven black feathers littered the floor. A figure silently emerged from the shadows to meet them. The Veiled One. A black shroud hid most of her features from sight, but her eerily violet eyes shone through. Her feet were bare on the stone-cold floor, and as the pupil told his tale, she gazed at him with an unbroken stare. I see that your actions were no accident, spoke the Veiled One at last. Her voice, though rarely heard, was barbed like a thorn brush. You acted with purpose and certainty, and yet, now you feel much pain at having hurt your master. I wish to atone for my sins, so that I may rid myself of this guilt, he said. Guilt can teach many things to a heart humbled by intent. Why did you strike your master? She asked. It was an act of anger. I was wrong, said the pupil. Perhaps. What caused your anger? Asked the Veiled One. The pupil looked at his cleric and cast his eyes down. In my foolishness, I sought to end his lesson to another student, said the pupil. And what was that lesson? Before the pupil could answer, the cleric interrupted. My students require instruction in myriad ways, he said. I teach them manners, patience, and restraint. If I must, I will use the lash. I do not enjoy it, These lessons are my sacred duty. The Veiled One peered at the cleric. Behind her shroud, her eyes seemed to bore into him. You do enjoy them, she said. I beg, tell me, scarred master, are your lessons truly for the good of your students, or do you punish them to relish their suffering? Said the Veiled One. No, the people interrupted. He can't have, he cares about us. The cleric raised his hand and struck the boy. I don't need your lying breath to defend me, spat the cleric, his scarred face vivid with anger. The Veiled One opened her palm and chained the cleric to her with dark fire. The bindings glimmered with immaterial violet light, but the cleric could not break them as he struggled. You came to me for another's punishment, she hissed, but you ignore your own sins. Your sick pride swells as they come back to you, cleric. Since you refuse to look at yourself, I will make you feel the pain you caused. Through the chains that bound them, the Veiled One forced him to endure all the shame, suffering and loneliness he had inflicted upon his pupils. For an instant, the cleric's heart stopped, as a great weight he had never known constricted his very soul. He fell to his knees, fixed in place by bitter torment, as shadow flames licked his flesh. Stop, please stop, the student cried. Please, punish me in his place, he has suffered enough. You defend him even now, said the Veiled One. The wretch must learn to ere death's mercy lays claim. He alone must feel the pain he has caused, so he may never hurt another. You came here seeking understanding. Its burden is now yours to bear. The pupil did not show his face at the cloister for many days, but when the hunger and fatigue overcame him, he finally forgot his fear of the master's lash. Upon his return, he found the cleric a different man. Where his elder had been cruel and uncaring, he was patient and gentle, for the burn on his face had not yet healed. The Veiled One's lesson had cut far deeper. Wow. So this is what I mean. She really, wants to get to, why these things happen. Why? How did the people feel? What happened? Which is really how the justice system works, in real life, right? Is that, we have all the evidence, we have the crime, and then the punishment fits the crime, but, we understand why things happen, what happened, we find the evidence, we find the clues, and in that she managed to deduct from them that fair enough, the pupil acted out in anger, but he had been suffering a lot, and the cleric had been punishing them unjustly for a long time, and she had put that punishment back on him, and then he learned from that and learned to be a better teacher. Which, to be fair, should have just not been a teacher anymore at all, but, Amperia set a lantern at the base of the statue. Half her stone-grey face was lost to darkness, but with flickering shadows running down her shroud like tears. Be careful, Rin, when wishing for punishment. Can you teach a lesson that will make your brother a better person? Even if you did hit you on purpose, there is no sense in you punishing him selfishly. Rin felt the rocks in his pocket. I guess my brother did say he was sorry after I fell down from getting hit in the eye, he said. He begrudgingly dropped the rocks to the forest floor. Wonderful. Let us give us thanks to the Veiled One. Amperia opened her lantern and blew the candle out. Remember, revenge is an act of pride, but teaching is selfless, she said. In case you forget, I'll be watching you. And the Veiled One might be too. Rin watched the smoke curl and unfold at the statue's empty stone eye, shrouding the figure in smoke. When he looked back, Amperia set off through the trees towards the village, and Rin hurried to catch up. I like the fact that when you look at the two stories, they're both told in very similar ways, where they are both essentially folk tale stories about the two, but they're very different in the way that they're told, and the fact that Kayle is this praised, revered figure with this temple and these people that worship her and have these tales that they tell about her to soldiers going to war, and then Morgana's is this she's more a kind of figure that is kind of respected and loved by people who are more homely, people from little villages that are using it as a folk story to teach a lesson to children. It's a very different way for these characters being remembered and worshipped, and Morgana's feels infinitely sadder to me. Read through Morgana's Wikipedia. So, conflicted between celestial and mortal natures, Morgana bound her wings to embrace humanity and inflicts her pain and bitterness upon the dishonest and corrupt. She rejects laws and traditions she believes are unjust and fights for the truth from the shadows of Demacia, even when others seek to oppress it, by casting shields and chains of dark fire. More than anything else, Morgana believes that even the banished and outcast may once rise again. So life as the Veiled One. So over time, Morgana's role as one of the winged protectors of Demacia would fade into obscurity, with few knowing that they were in fact two protectors. Instead, Morgana would be known as the Veiled Lady or the Veiled One, a deity in Demacia's would pray to in order to ensure the loved ones pass safely into the afterlife. Morgana would walk the realm, embracing mortals and enacting justice when needed. She currently resides in the Silence Forest outside Demacia, waiting for the day she needs. Oh wow, so she's literally just like living like just right outside Demacia. Oh, okay. So abilities. So I'm presuming she's got a very similar thing, but it's all like dark fire and dark chains and everything. It's like the yin and yang, night and day as well. So the twin siblings, with Kayle being the oldest. Okay, here we go to trivia. So in Morgana's name is the more modernized, revised version of her mother, Mihira, which is like weird because like obviously like Morgana was closer to her father, but Kayle felt closer to her mother. So it's kind of sad that they're named after like the other parent. And apparently it's Sanskrit, it means son or covenant. So out of universe, Morgana might have been named Morgan Le Fay after the King Arthur mythos. So Morgan Le Fay is a character that's like an antagonist in the King Arthur mythos. So she was like an enchantress, a sorceress that was usually trying to like essentially take down King Arthur and King Uther, who was Arthur's father. And usually she's depicted as a sibling to Arthur. So usually she's like a secret sibling, or she is like an adopted child of Uther that grew up with Arthur and then became antagonistic. I mean, perfect example, if you've ever seen BBC Merlin, like the Morgana in that show is really well done. But same again, like it's a cool reference, she kind of looks a bit like Morgana and those kind of like the way that she's described and stuff as well. Like there is definitely similarities. So the parents born of the tribes. I do love the two different sides to justice. I think justice is a very complicated topic, and I like the fact that they've chosen to use like twins to like represent the two different sides. Morgana's worst flaw is an inability to let go of past mistakes. So her best quality, the empathy that she feels for all sinners regardless of their crime. So yeah, she's currently in the wilds of Demacia. So her views on justice are more nuanced than Kayle's. She cares more about the intent of why someone would commit a crime. She believes criminals deserve to feel pain and suffering they've inflicted, but in order to truly reform, redeem themselves and feel empathy for others. So yeah, she's trying to like teach them a lesson and basically like help them to learn how to not do what they did again. Whereas like Kayle is like, you broke the law. Okay, well, if you did this, you then get this level of punishment. And like, that's it. Like, Kayle doesn't care about afterwards. Morgana's more like, it's almost like Morgana's more about like rehabilitation. She's like, we are going to like, it's like in prisons nowadays, but they're like, oh, we're going to, give these like prisoners, like we're gonna like in like counseling sessions, we're gonna give them like therapy sessions and try to like rehabilitate them into society to become functioning members of society again and not hopefully re-offend. And it feels like Morgana's more about that, whereas Kayle's more about just getting them in the prison and just close the door and locking it and keeping them in there forever. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. Demacia views the Veiled Lady has changed over the years. Some see her as a figure of punishment, others see her as a figure of judgment, as well as a guide in death. So the first one I'm going to watch is Kayle Morgana, The Righteous and the Fallen, the Champion gameplay trailer. So I think this is both of them fighting.
Blinded by the shadows your light casts.
Oh my god, Morgana is just so cool looking.
Make excuses for their darkness, sister? The unrighteous will burn! And the fires of justice shall vanquish the darkness.
Wow.
Justice, how boring! As evil grows, so shall I. I make my own justice.
Ooh.
Behold the righteous flame!
It's my favorite, that move. It's my fave.
Darkness reveals our truth.
Why have we wings, sister, if not to fly?
Why do we have feet, if not to tread upon the soil?
Ooh. Wow. Oh my god, I love this. I love that so much. Oh, it's just everything. That was really cool. I actually really enjoyed that trailer. It was so good. Okay, these two also have a Wild Rift trailer, which I'm very hyped about because the Wild Rift trailers are also really good. So let's check out this one as well. So we can immediately say this is a Kayle. This is the statue, like one of the statues in Demacia that we've seen. Obviously, we know that Kayle is still very worshipped in Demacia.
Long ago, two winged protectors kept peace in this land.
Oh, and there's the like broken version.
Justice and forgiveness, together in harmony.
Wow.
But when war raged within their home,
Oh, this
they
is
could no
beautiful.
longer act as one. Their battle split the heavens, searing the land with flame and shadow.
Wow.
Yet when dawn broke, neither sister remained. Some hope for their return, to put an end to all mortal conflict. Others pray that day will never come.
Oh, the music is gorgeous as well. Oh, I mean, no, bring them back. Let's go. I want the fight. I want the epic showdown. I want the angst. I want to know what the fuck's gonna happen. I'm so curious. Oh my god. Another trailer I only felt it right to include, and I couldn't find a Morgana one of this. So I don't think Morgana is currently in Runeterra, but Kayle got introduced to Runeterra at the end of 2022. So they also have a trailer for this. So I was very curious, but also the fuck are that? What is that? Ooh. Ooh, okay, wait. That's interesting. I've never seen this creature before. Or are these like, maybe these are like other like angels, or like, oh, are they like the versions of like cherubim or something because they've only got like 2 wings? Oh, there are like angels with like the wings, right? 1 minute, I need to look this up. 1 second. I was right. Cherubs in some of the like biblical imagery do actually have wings on their head, and also sometimes angels can also be like animalistic too. Like they can have like animal bodies and stuff. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude. Oh, the music already, dude.
Behold, the righteous flame!
Kayle's
Glory
voice
and light!
is so good. Wow.
Illumination in divinity! Spare the innocent.
Winged
punish
messenger.
the
Oh,
wicked.
okay.
Truth
Oh, they even
guide
have
my
the
soul.
eye. Oh my god. That was.
You are unworthy.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
On wings of fire, hope ascends.
That's so good. Holy fuck. Oh wow.
'Tis thy land, mighty one. Wield it justly.
Together we will rid this world
Wait.
of corruption.
That's what Mihira looks like now? Holy shit. What the fuck did the aspect of justice do to her? She was human beforehand. What the heck? Oh my god.
Allah, guilty fool! Open your eyes!
She is returned. My fears were well founded.
Wow.
Deliverance!
Wow.
Our devotion will not be broken.
Oh. There you go. Mihira, the aspect of justice. Wow, look at the design. That looks amazing. Got winged messenger as well. Oh, that is sick. Oh my god, these cards are amazing. Oh, I'm living. Oh, they're so good. Oh, just yes. That was awesome. I loved that. Oh my god, I would just never play any of the cards. I'd just be always playing the Kayle set. Okay, so this is the bit that, you know, is usually the biggest part of the video, is going to be going over the voices. So Kayle Morgana's are actually together, which was one of the reasons what made me decide to do this video as one big video instead of splitting it down into two, because they do have everything together. So we are going to check out the voice lines. I am going to be very interested to see how they interact with each other. I think that also as well, I think that there are a lot of characters in this game that are very morally grey, do things that are definitely not going to be agreed with by Kayle Morgana, and I'm going to be interested to see how much Kayle, like if like they have like Kayle Morgana saying stuff to the same champions, like if like Kayle and Morgana are going to say very different things, especially if like it's in the name of justice. I'm going to be so fascinated to see the two different approaches and how like obvious the difference is with the two of them. So let's check out these voice lines. Just very hyped for this.
Attacking me with my own blade, sister? Feel something, anything!
Why do you think I wear armor, sister?
Oh.
Own your frailty!
I am not frail.
Okay, already fascinating. So Morgana knows that Kayla's like closed herself off and is trying to like appeal to that side of her that she was always able to appeal to beforehand, but Kayla's completely closed herself off. Oh my god. The angst alone in that first 16 seconds.
Or as I have!
Think you're the only one?
Oh.
I make my own justice.
And you damn yourself. No mercy!
What's new?
No!
You can hear how much more like godly Kayle sounds than Morgana. Morgana sounds very much grounded, is like a human, whereas like Kayle sounds significantly, like she even has like the echo, like she sounds like significantly more godlike. I'm also just going to move myself slightly so you guys can see Morgana, because it seems like a bit of a shame to not see this gorgeous artwork.
Not even for your twin?
Wow.
Sister, here to break my heart anew?
Oh.
Better a broken heart than a shackled soul.
Oh, it's
you
so
again.
cold.
Are you following me or something?
Mother must be so proud of all your murders, Kayle.
Not murder. Justice.
I would love to see how Morgana acts to her mum, because just from that line alone, she's like clearly very cold towards their mother, and Kayla's obviously very proud to stand at her mother's side. So I think that that point alone is like a big contesting point between Kayle and Morgana. But I would love to see her mother in the game. Oh my god, I would love to see the aspect of justice. Oh, that'd be sick, especially with that card design.
With Mother's sword. What had to be done?
Ooh.
Still playing with your little human pets, sister?
At least I haven't smited all my friends.
Your sword is
roast.
with me. Do you want it back?
I need no blade.
I also
Why
just thought when Kayle goes dual swords, when she ascends and has the 6 wings, she'll be using Morgana's sword as well. Oh, wow.
We wings, sister, if not to fly.
Why do we have feet if not to tread upon the soil?
That line is so
Are
good.
yordles small children?
Or large squirrels?
Flame purified.
I'm sorry, I just love how neither of them know what they are. Like, you would think that, like, beings that are, like, thousands years old would, like, know what a yordle is, because yordles have been around for a long time, right? But, like, Demacia has no magic. So, like, they probably have never come across a yordle. Because, like, Morgana's been living in the woods outside Demacia, and Kayle hasn't even been on Runeterra. So, like, I love the fact that he just shows their naivety where they're like, what the hell is that? I just love the fact of Heimerdinger just standing there, and they're just both looking at him like, what the hell are you? You a big squirrel? That's so good.
Eyes.
Oh, am I pure now, sister?
I am your salvation!
Oh, spare me.
Redemption in
I
the
love
light!
the sassiness between the siblings. It's just great.
Preach later.
I love it.
Sister!
Kayle! Remember strolling together in the woods when we were girls?
Oh.
You never had any fear.
Funny. I remember it differently.
Today, it seems we must put our animosity aside.
We've never been enemies, sister.
How beautiful your mind must be to think such things.
So Kayle sees them as
How
enemies,
tragic
Morgana
yours to
doesn't.
believe them. Shielded from yourself.
can I just say that I love the voice acting for both of these two. Incredible. Like, you can feel like the heavenly side of Kayle's, but you can feel the like human tragic sadness in Morgana's, and it's just such a perfect parallel. That moment where they were just like remembering their childhood, oh my god, my heart just like bleeds for them. Like, it's so sad to think of like how far they've come in this journey, and that they are like essentially the other half of each other, and they have to be like enemies, and it's just sad. And I love that Morgana doesn't necessarily think of them as enemies, but Kayle does. That's really, really sad.
I'll ignore that.
Shielded from yourself.
How gracious of you.
You're welcome.
I didn't say thank you.
You never
sass.
do. It takes a cold heart to abandon your family.
My cold heart is the reason we are alive.
You hide behind your laws and arrogance, Kayle.
I mean, in a weird way, technically Kayle didn't exactly abandon her family, because she is with their mother. So, like, it's not exactly abandonment, but I guess Morgana was kind of like, you know, like, you essentially chose our mother over me, is probably how Morgana kind of feels more than anything else.
My laws have more merit than your whims ever will.
Do not run from your shadow, Kayle.
I am the light.
That's a cool comparison, actually. The fact that like Morgana is Kayle's shadow, and like as the younger sibling as well, like I guess she would have always kind of, you know, she's like in everything that we've seen so far, like Morgana has been in Kayle's shadow, even for Demacia. Like, she is literally like her, like all of her like statues were literally built in the woods. Like, she isn't like even a part, really, like she's a part of Demacian history, but she's not a known part. She's known as being veiled, as being like hidden in the shadows, as being like secretive, and people don't like go and see her that often, whereas like Kayle is this like worshipped protector still. Even though Morgana probably did more for the people of Demacia and protected them better than Kayle ever did. It's just this irony. Oh god, it's sad.
Do not turn your back on me, sister.
I never did.
By divine edict, fear the cleansing fire. Justice unyielding. Trial by fire. Avarice falls. Be judged. You fall short. Darkness be gone. Pay for your sins. You deserve this. Righteous glory. Stand and be judged. Surrender and I'll make this quick. Fire reveals truth. Save your excuses.
No! My wings. I dim. If I could see my sister.
Oh,
Magic tricks, adorable. As evil grows, so shall I.
oh, like Kayle is
The
so.
unrighteous will burn.
Oh my god.
These blades, my sanction. Behold the righteous flame.
Oh man.
You Demacians have lost your way.
Ooh.
If you were innocent, I would not be here. There is no hiding from the light. I am the consequence of your actions. You seem worthy, Garen. Now prove it.
Ooh, so she likes
A throne
Garen.
won't save you from my judgment, Highness.
Oh, but she doesn't like Jarvan. Oh. Intriguing. Intriguing. I wonder why. But she approves of Garen. That's interesting.
Lux, the complicit are the worst sinners.
Of course she doesn't like Lux. Of course she doesn't like Lux. Because with Lux and the mages and hiding and everything like that, of course she doesn't appreciate Lux. Whereas I bet Morgana will like Lux. I have a feeling.
Have you come to defy me again? Your power could save this world, Morgana. Instead, it dooms you. Funny, you're on my list too.
I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense that the Pike would definitely be on a to kill list for Kayle, for sure. There's fuck all Pike could do about it.
Once, Silas. No longer. Are you a talking animal? Tiny mortal? Why are you so soft?
I love the confusion.
With the just hand of law, I
it.
enter the fray, unbound by this mortal pettiness. In me will rise the strength of 1,000 swords, the fury of 1,000 flames. When I looked into my mother's eyes, I saw a paradise for the just and glorious. It is for that world I fight.
I wonder if she got worse after she met her mother. Like, obviously she already had these ideologies and these ways that she wanted to, like, tackle justice and take justice on. But I do wonder that when she went to Targon and met her mother again and ended up, like, essentially, like, staying with the aspect of justice, if that changed Kayle further. And I wonder how much that changed her and how much of the mortalness that she had, she lost. You see aspects of it, I see aspects of the human side of her, and especially with Morgana, there are little bits and pieces where, like, I see the occasional, like, side of her being human, but, like, the majority of it, like, she views herself as a higher being. She looks down on everyone. She even looks down more on Morgana.
This mortal cycles. Cruelty begets suffering. Suffering begets cruelty. It ends with me. Grant me the strength to forge by flame a world beyond worlds. Here to make excuses for their darkness, sister? My sister is here, to fall before me again, no doubt. I shall battle my maudlin twin once more. Morgana is here. How I relish the opportunity to battle my dark shadow. A thief, a murderer, and a corrupt guard all walk into my sword. The end. Evil fears
Cool joke.
only fire. And yordles, because what even are they?
They really just don't know what a yodel is, do
Buried
they?
with your transgressions. Thus the mighty fall. Your guilt was clear. Slain by your own sword.
It even seems like
This world did not deserve you.
she's trying to, like, persuade
An
herself
eye for
to,
an
like,
eye.
hate Morgana, you know? Also Void, so she's against Void as well. I mean, she committed. I kind of love the
Let me grow
laughs.
stronger, that I might vanquish the forces of darkness. Let me transcend mortal frailty.
And I think that is a very good kind of sentence that kind of, like, brings to the point that she is preparing herself to become the aspect of justice. Like, she is fully prepared. And I wonder if she actually will. Or I wonder if there's going to be a twist move or something where, like, Morgana will become the aspect of justice instead. Could you imagine if they made Morgana the aspect of justice because she truly embodied what justice is, and then Kayle, that's been striving and chasing after this, like, goal her whole life, fails to become the aspect of justice? Oh my god. Oh my god. That would be insane. That would be insane. I want to see it. I want to see it fucking happen. Oh my god.
Purge the dark within and rise in glory. Live long enough and all lies crumble to dust. I will bring justice to this world, no matter the cost. Only those with malice in their hearts need fear the light. Injustice is a festering rot, and I am its cauterizing blade. I shall purge this world of evil, and the fires of justice shall vanquish the darkness. The greater the evil, the greater its opposition. There is right, and there is wrong. All else is rationalization. The moment justice bends, it breaks. The righteous path begins with me. Only the divine may judge. Mortals are blinded by their own misery. A clean cut divides darkness and light. The divine path shows no footsteps.
Because they're using wings.
To withhold justice is a dark sin. This world was not made to last. Emotions are a weakness. On wings of fire, hope ascends. I must feel nothing to fight injustice. I do not fear the holy fire. I must become it.
She definitely is on the way to being shielded and feeling nothing, but I can still hear the emotion behind a lot of these things. Like, she is like trying to persuade herself that she wants this so badly and she like wants to feel nothing, that in that she's failing to feel nothing. You know, because like even just feeling your own failure, you're still feeling something. You are still feeling the hurt from that. You're still feeling upset by that, and she's trying to make herself so beyond that, but like her mortal half of her makes that so difficult. And I can see why she removed herself from like Demacia and Earth for so long, and lived among the gods essentially to make herself less human, you know, to make herself not feel those things. She's definitely just trying to hammer home like this like sense of justice that she has, and that she will like bring justice, and it's, yeah.
To find grace, I cannot fall. Truth, guide my sword. The light of my devotion will set the world aflame. What is dark in me, I will illuminate. No human is perfect, but I am not human. Where there is evil, I shall go.
But she's even in denial about her own human side at this point.
Is a lonely one.
Oh.
Would that my path be true. If I slip, I will fall, and so I must fly. I shall purify this land with fire if I must. The past is for sinners. The future is for the repentant. I am divine wrath. I remember pain. It made me weak.
Oh.
Excuses do not concern me, only actions.
I'm so curious about the future
The just
for
rise
Kayle.
above this mortal soil.
I'm so curious
Celestial
what the fuck's gonna happen.
guide my blade.
Because I think, like, if she becomes the aspect of justice, I don't see it going well. I do see maybe a bad future. I feel like her being more human and humanizing herself again wouldn't be a bad thing. I do feel like that might help, because the thing is, I don't think at the moment, I think fair enough, she's done some stuff that in the name of justice that she believes is right, but I don't think there's anything that like that she can't come back from and redeem herself for, and, you know, get back to a point where she can feel again. But I think if she becomes the aspect of justice, oh my god, I just see all hell breaking loose. I think it's going to be absolutely horrific.
I took up my mother's sword, and with it, her purpose. Only the innocent will be spared, if I can find any.
I do also wonder if that was the mother's true purpose of giving them the swords, because obviously, like, she didn't come down and tell them anything. Like, she didn't talk to them. Like, she literally just threw her blade down in the middle of Demacia, going through any shields or anything that they have, and they burst wings from their back. So they presumed that the message that the mother had given them was that you need to like protect Demacia, and you will become the protectors of this planet, and you will bring justice upon the people. But like, what if that's not what she meant at all? So I'm curious as to like why the mother / the aspect of justice did that. And it does make me wonder, is it because they were after the next host? Were they trying to see which of the two would make for a better host? Was it like an experiment? We know that the aspects like to play with Runeterrans and like to like trick them and like to, you know, experiment and see how they're going to react to things. Is that why? I'm really curious.
I will grow stronger. I fly for the glory that shines above this caustic din. I cannot rest. I will not. I am born from the flame of their sins. Wings of immortal flame, lift me from mortal temptation. Their deeds shall be weighed on the scales of stars.
I mean, we've seen scales. Well, there's literally scales in the stars.
Stalwart heart. I am the light and the glory. My devotion is unbreakable. Burn all deceivers. The fallen will never rise again. I was purified in the light.
That was fun though, because she was saying that the future is for the repentant, but really it's not for her, because like, you know, she's like essentially like holy fire should be used to burn anyone that breaks the law and stuff. So like really, like even if they were repentant about what they did, it doesn't matter, because she would just burn them with holy fire anyway, because they've committed a sin, and that's it. That's justice. That's what she believes, just sin. Morgana's the one that I think believes the future is more for the repentant, because she believes in redemption, and that's like the complete opposite of what Kayle believes.
My sword is named Virtue, and it burns eternal.
I wonder what Morgana's sword's named.
I am anointed in the fire of absolution. The law does not tolerate imperfection. I am no exception.
This to me just shows that like it's so unrealistic. Like what she's expecting is unrealistic, because to be human is to be imperfect. No one's perfect. There's no such thing as perfection when you are mortal. So really, like, Kayle's expectation for humanity is unrealistic. So her sense of justice then becomes unfair, which then means that she shouldn't be bringing justice upon humanity, because like she's never going to be able to be impartial, because she believes them to be lesser than herself, and also that they are not perfect in the first place and there's no future for them. So how can she bring justice upon people when she doesn't believe that they can be better and follow the law anyway? Oh, I genuinely wonder if she is actually going to become the aspect of justice, or if Morgana will. Oh, I really hope that they do a twist to Morgana. Oh my god. But Kayle just seems, she's so like, it's just so unrealistic. Like she's so like delusional about what it believes. I just don't know how she's gotten to this point. And it really makes me like wonder like what the aspect of justice in here is like.
Make thyself devout, and eternal life is granted. To be human is to be imperfect, but I am not human. Only the just walk the path of immortal light. Justice is swift when born on the edge of a blade. The just cry to the heavens, I answer. The fire that illuminates also cleanses. Only the guilty need fear me. My flames burn only the unworthy. I have given up everything for the light. I am exalted! The celestial realm awaits. I salute the fallen. They cannot kill justice. The light renews.
Erase your mistakes! I make my own justice. Avoid pain. Suffer more. Revel. You are alive. Suffer or feel nothing. Do not run from your shadow. Darkness rises.
Oh, I love Morgana's voice.
Own your frailty. Endure this. Suffer as I have. I will show you pain. Suffer. Embrace your pain. Into the dark. Feel your guilt. Darkness reveals truth. Endure. Feel my pain. Share in my torment.
Aww.
Feel. Do not look away. Know me by my pain.
It's interesting, she is literally the complete opposite of...
Justice. How boring.
Oh.
Blind faith is for fools.
Oh.
Justice. How boring. True justice needs compassion.
You say she doesn't like justice.
Justice is never blind. Judge yourself, sister. A sword! Cute! Justice! How boring!
She said that like
Your worst
5
decisions
times.
will haunt you. I am bound, but I will not break. Something new. So this is how it feels. Let me show you what it is to fall.
Oh shit. I am kind of wondering whether or not she's like very tired of being alive and like life and her life, and it's very tragic that like she has lost everything. Like she's you know, she lost her father who she loved, she lost her twin sister, she's been lost to history and is only known as the Veiled One. You know, even her statues are forgotten. Like she's just this like forgotten like sad figure that is like just getting by and living in like these like woods next to Demacia and not changing and not doing much. And it's sad to see that that's where she's gotten to, but she's like staying there because, you know, she has this hope that her sister might one day return, and because you know, Morgana's in the same boat. Like, she can't die unless she's killed by like her sister or an aspect. Like, there's nothing she can do about that. She's just immortal. She's just got to live with the pain because she chose to be human. She could have gone down the same route as Kayle, but she didn't. She chose to be human. She chose to feel that pain, and so she makes people feel that pain when they do like a sin of like what they've inflicted on other people, to like make them realize their mistakes, you know, because usually like you learn, the way you learn from your mistakes is like there's a consequence, and Morgana, you know, is the one that is like, yeah, well, this is your consequence and this is what you have to live with, whereas Kayle is like, the consequence is death, so goodbye. Like, it's a vast difference, but it shows that Morgana still hopes for the future of the other people, but I kind of get the impression that she necessarily doesn't want a future for herself.
I am your darkness. I am your truth. Demacian lies are pretty. Demacian faith is a hollow shield. Those who wear armor fear death, Garen. And that's a lot of armor. Ooh. Those you love can destroy you, Jarvan. Sister, you broke our family and my heart. Kayle, have you forgotten our father?
Oh.
You mask your feelings, Kayle, because you have none. LeBlanc, wish my twin would disappear as fast as yours.
Ooh, that's fun, because LeBlanc has an ability where she can like create a twin version of herself, I think, like from what I vaguely remember about her skills, so I think that's why.
There's darkness in everyone, Lux. Even you.
Interesting. I thought she would like Lux a bit more, because Lux is obviously like a mage in Demacia, and you know, there is injustice against Lux because she is having to like live a lie, and she did try and help the mages, and she got kind of tricked into helping Silas and caused the whole revolt and stuff. But I guess, yeah, I guess not. But Lux is kind of one of those characters that always seen as like a good character, you know? Yeah, that's interesting.
Your secrets are why you suffer, Lux.
Aww.
A metal heart still breaks. Your soul sings for a fallen world, Sona. Aww. I saw you in your cell, Silas. Heard your cries.
Aww.
Felt your anguish. Did someone send you here as a joke, Yordle? Did Kayle send you? Darkness reveals our truth, Zed. Step, I forge my fate in the fires of pain. Wings bound and feet earthly tethered, I move against the false promises of order and justice. The trials I endured were seared into my soul. They drive me forward, even after my wounds have healed. Aww. They are not ready for the reflections within my darkness. Humans are inherently flawed, and yet I trust them more than the divine. True grace is beautiful in its imperfection, honest in its emotion, freed by its own frailty. Oh, wow. They shall feel my pain and fear for their souls.
Ugh, the voice actress does such a good job.
Blinded by the shadows your light casts, I will not disappear, as much as Kayle would like me to. You demean yourself to fight amongst mortals, Kayle. I am unmade in the image of my twin. Kayle, I know her soul. She broke my heart. Aww. I shall battle my heartless twin once more. Loves me not. Loves me not. Ugh! Loves me not. Loves me not. Loves me. Take pride in how swiftly we fall.
I just want her to be happy. I feel really sad for her.
Truly divine. Pain must be felt. Time to come down to earth. Send my regards to Mother. Blood for my blood. Once I thought the air above was sweet. Now, I find it stifling. My sister cauterized her wound in holy fire. Mine remains. I move with mortals while she languishes with her lofty ideals. Those who soar amongst the clouds lose sight of the life below. I prefer an honest sinner over a righteous liar. Nothing makes you feel alive like knowing you might die. I have seen liars choose virtue, and I have seen the divine cheat. Perhaps today I will see a Yordle sneeze. To see the world in black and white
is to blind yourself to all of life's colors.
It does feel like Morgana definitely has more of an idea about like the beauty of humanity and like why being human and the gift that life is, essentially. Like, it seems like she appreciates that a lot more, and I think that will have probably come from like her father and like the love that she had for her father and the relationship that she had with him, and then like his death and how like fragile human life became for her, and the pain that that really caused, and the fact that then like Kayle obviously like then like left as well, and the way Kayle acts towards her now. Like, I think that she's been so scarred by like the aspects and by like her interactions with like heavenly beings that like Morgana, I think, wants nothing more than just like a simple life where she can just, you know, be loved and love someone and like be able to like be at peace, and she just can't have that, you know. And it's very sad, but it does seem that regardless of how she feels about things, she still can appreciate how like beautiful life can be, and that she wants to protect that for mortals, and that she, you know, she does love them. Like, she was raised mortal, and I think that she's always embraced that, and she decided to keep that side of herself. And I think that she definitely feels some sadness and tragedy towards the fact that Kayle never did.
Whether by chains or by wings, we are all bound. My wings remember the wind. No longer. Once I had grace, now I have pain. My shadow outruns my sister's light.
Oh, and also the fact that like she sacrificed a lot, and her sister is the one being like glorified, you know. Like, she sacrificed a lot for Demacia. Like, she lost her father. Like, she lost a lot in that fight that occurred, and she was fighting for the mortals' right to live, and to, you know, not have the justice be so harsh that Kayle was imbuing on them. And instead, like, Morgana was the one that got forgotten to history, and Kayle was the one that got glorified and remembered as this like justice giving god. And whereas like Kayle, like, yes, she does give justice, but like a lot of the time it's death. Like, it's not like the kind of justice where someone can redeem themselves from. Like, the redemption is your death. Whereas like Morgana was the one that always tried to protect humanity, and it's just it's a very sad life that she's had to lead because of that, and she's lost a lot.
I know what my enemies feel. They are right to be afraid. Only death can break my bonds, and I am immortal. Righteousness, a splintered shield that I will shatter. Justice is a lie of the powerful. I have truths of my own. Not all light is a gift. To walk barefoot, skin to soil, is true grace. With every step, I forge my own fate. I walk so I can feel each fracture of the earth. Some pray to fate. I forge my own path.
We may fall today, but still we persist.
Battles bring out so many emotions. We are shaped by our foes. Demacia learned all the wrong lessons. I would cut off my wings if there was steel strong enough. I chose my shackles. Shadow is not as dark as one might think. I find beauty in these shadows. I will not forsake the land that shaped me, nor the mistakes. Do not conflate darkness with evil. I was betrayed. Once. My broken heart still beats. My wings are bound, but my soul flies. I don't hide my pain. I wield it. Love is to be bound. Some call me evil. Shall I prove them right? We are the sum of our mistakes. Pain is grace. Mistakes shape us. Those who judge condemn themselves. I did not fall from grace. I leapt. This world is all I have. You cannot break a shattered soul. Onward through this unchanging land. My wings are heavy, but not as heavy as my heart. Demacia forgot the true cost of war. I remember. Truth is a dark mirror. My flaws are a badge of honor. I shall show them what it is to fall. Betrayal never comes from your enemies.
They wanted a villain? I gave them a villain.
Home. A place that never leaves you.
Oh, she's just not a
Mortal
villain at all,
comforts
though, is
make
she?
immortality bearable. These mortal cycles begin anew. Back into the fray. Still the same hair after, what, a few hundred years?
Look what you made me
I love,
do!
like, the bitchness. It's so
I will
sassy.
take on everything! I suffered this for you! My pain unbound! I told you to remain!
Vision does not require light. Darkness is everywhere. The world is a beautiful place. Do not let it be hidden. We shall see through their lies.
I'm gonna say that gave us a really good picture of the characters themselves. I think it was really interesting to get to see the interactions between them. Obviously, there's a lot of like sadness and pain there. I think Kayle has definitely tried to look all that away, whereas Morgana definitely embraces that side of herself. And they're in very different places, and I would love to see what would happen if they like came together. I'm hoping we get them in a cinematic. I want to see them in a cinematic so much. It'd be so cool. Each of them also have a champion spotlight, so I figured I would also check this out as well, as this gives a little bit more of a look at the characters.
Purge the land of evil in an unrelenting crusade. She increases in power over the course of the game, sending wave after wave of fiery celestial fury to serve the unjust their final judgment. The righteous shall prevail. Welcome to the Kayle Champion Spotlight.
Wow.
Kayle's passive is Divine Ascent. Over the course of the game, Kayle rises closer to her celestial form, increasing the speed, range, and power of her basic attacks.
As evil grows, so shall I.
Ugh, the dual sword is just my
At level 1, Kayle is
fave.
fueled by Righteous Fury, and her basic attacks increase her attack speed. At max stacks, Kayle becomes Exalted and gains movement speed toward enemies. At level 6, Kayle flies on 2 sets of wings, and when Exalted, her attacks launch flaming waves that deal bonus damage. At level 11, Kayle's helmet comes off and another pair of wings appear, signaling that she now attacks from range.
It's so good.
At level 16, Kayle transforms into a true champion of justice, wielding 2 swords, becoming permanently exalted, and dealing true damage with her waves of fire. Kayle's E, Starfire Spellblade, has a passive and active effect. Passively, her basic attacks deal bonus magic damage. When activated, Kayle's next basic attack becomes ranged and deals a portion of the target's missing health as bonus damage. After ascending to level 6, this attack damages enemies next to the target as well. Kayle's Radiant Blast pierces the first enemy hit with light, dealing damage, shredding resistances, and slowing any foe caught in the blast. Celestial Blessing heals Kayle and a target allied champion, infusing them both with a burst of speed. It's a short duration buff, so it's better at quickly maneuvering and dodging enemy attacks rather than long-term chases. Kayle decides who lives and dies. Her Divine Judgment makes a target ally completely invulnerable for a couple seconds, then purifies the area around them with a cascade of shining blades. Kayle can move while casting, but can't attack or cast other spells until the swords fall. This means it's often better to ult an ally who can dive the enemy team instead of using it on yourself. You'll save them from certain death and massively damage foes at the same time. In order for Kayle to truly mete out justice, she must ascend to her final form as quickly as possible. However, her weak early game can be hell, so you'll need to play safe to avoid becoming superfood.
Yeah, that took me a long time to
Rely on
learn.
Radiant Blast and Starfire
Because I like
Spellblade
just
to farm
like
from range.
diving in there,
If
and
you stray
it's
too
not
close,
the way to go
or
with
try to wing
Kayle.
it in a fight, you'll be butchered where you stand.
Yeah, she gets taken out pretty
Calling
quick.
on allies for aid can spare you the worst of your rough early game. Use Divine Judgment for a clutch intervention, then turn the fight in your favor and get the kill. The Righteous really shines once she reaches level 11 and starts to outscale enemies. Tower dives are no trouble thanks to Divine Judgment, and your rapid-fire attacks will melt enemies easily. Exaltations all around.
Ugh, it's
Once
just so
Kayle's
good.
apotheosis is complete, take your crusade across the map for the final victory. Lead your own team into the fray, protecting critical allies while condemning your enemies to a swift execution. you'll win the team fight just as you planned. If you want a glorious paladin who eventually becomes a godlike agent of punishment, rise with Kayle and serve them justice. For more info on the Righteous and her fallen sister, soar to the links below. And remember, kids, Kayle is good for you.
Like Morgana's got one as well, so we'll watch Morgana's as well.
Know me by my pain.
Oh, this is for Wild Rift, okay.
I chose my shackles.
Oh. Oh, so she's got like a drain ability. Oh wow, that's... Damn. That's a lot of damage. I just realized I've never seen a Wild Rift trailer like this. Like, I've never watched like one of these character ones. Jeez. Morgana pops up. She's really strong. Wow.
Love is to be bound.
Oh, the skins. Oh, so good. Last thing we've got to look at is the login screen. So let's give this a watch. Oh, this is already one of my favorite pieces of art. It's gorgeous. Oh, wow. Okay. Already loving the fact they've got 2 different voices in there. Definitely going to represent each of the characters. Oh my gosh. I think this might be the Kayle voice. Oh, this is lush. Wow. I wonder if that's the Morgana one, because it's more like desolate and like alone and isolated, whereas the Kayle voice is more like celebrating, surrounded. This is definitely a lot more somber. It's very enchanting, isn't it? Oh, it's building. Oh. Oh. Wow. That, what a gorgeous song. Obviously, like, they have used like a choir, and usually choirs are more kind of like, you see choirs a lot in like the kind of like heavenly, like holy music, you know, like in like churches and stuff. Like they use that style, and I really liked that. It was an absolutely gorgeous song. Very, you can definitely feel the two characters in there, and it was definitely very like sad as well. I think that's like my main summary of like this whole story, is that it's very sad. And I really feel for the, like, especially for Morgana. I mean, Kayle has moments where it's quite sad for her too, but I really feel for Morgana's character. But overall, this, what a freaking journey. Like, wow, like there is so much lore to these two characters, but I really feel like we kind of got to the kind of like depths of those characters and like how they're feeling and where we're leaving off with them. And as for the future of their characters, I don't know. Like I said, I'm very curious about their mother, the aspect of Justice, and I really want to know more about the different aspects anyway. It's a video that I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm definitely going to be having a look at some of the other aspects that are League of Legends champions that are playable, so we are going to be hopefully delving into those soon. But I'm very curious, and it does make me wonder. I hope that we are going to get more lore on these two, and I hope that we will get something where it ties more into the whole story, because that would be amazing. I also really want a Kayle Morgana poster, I'm not gonna lie. Might have to add it to my arcane one. Just get one put down there, because that'd be sick. Anyways, I think we'll leave this video here for today. But thank you so much for watching this. If you have stuck this all the way through and you can see this message, thank you very much for sticking this all the way through. I know this is going to be a bit of a lengthy video, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for watching. If there are any other champions that you would like me to check out, please leave them for me down in the comments below. I have an ever-growing list, so please let me know if there are any that you would like me to check out as well. And yeah. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Plenty more content on this channel. And if you want to come check me out sometime as well, I'm also over on Twitch. I'm a Twitch streamer as well, so you can come say hi over there. It's georgieegames, but all my links and socials are down in the description below too. And yeah, I will see you guys hopefully in the next video. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.